So tomorrow, at least from the posting of this video, which will be Monday, June 2nd, I'm going to an emergency town hall, independence town hall meeting in Regina, Saskatchewan to speak there. It's a Rebel Media event. They put a few of those on in Alberta, a couple I went to, and packed the house. And I'm pretty excited about it because Saskatchewan has been overshadowed way too much as independence movements have been rising in Western Canada. And people are forgetting that actually the sentiment for provincial independence in Saskatchewan is as strong as it is in Alberta. And there's people hard at work for it, and for much of the same reasons. Saskatchewan's different, so they've got a lot of parallels and similarities to what's going on in Alberta, but they got some differences too. So that's part of what I'm looking forward to as well. I won't be just speaking to people out there. I'm going to do a lot of listening. I'm looking forward to talking to some people, finding out where they're coming from on this. I mean, they don't necessarily need somebody else coming from out of province to tell them what to do. That's not what I'm out to do. I want to talk more about, the mechanisms and the means of getting towards independence. But as for their individual reasons, it'll be interesting to speak to people about it. I mean, they have the same sort of things with Alberta, a resource-based economy. They're currently being bled for equalization to keep feeding Quebec, as Alberta is. They've got a lot of other resources Alberta doesn't even have: uranium, potash, things that the world wants, and things that the central federal government just doesn't make any easier to produce. And they've got a lot of oil and gas in Saskatchewan too, of course, and just a skilled, educated workforce. So it's going to be a good meeting. Now, they've been trying, and we're seeing similar battles. It's funny when you see the left in Alberta, the left in Saskatchewan, the status quo people, the ones who are married to the system. The first thing they want to do is take away the ability to pursue independence, not try to reason with independent supporters, not tell us why to stay, but they want to make sure you can't even do it. So Nadine Ness, she's an activist out there in Saskatchewan with Unified Grassroots, has been working on an independence referendum petition, or in Saskatchewan it would be a plebiscite. And the NDP out there have been screaming and howling at Premier Scott Moe, saying, you've got to shut this down. You can't have that. Why do they fear even giving people the chance to vote on it? I mean, in the same breath, they'll always say there's no real support for it. Well, then you got nothing to worry about, do you? But it would seem to me they do have a lot to worry about. There is something happening. History is happening in the West. It's happening in Canada. Canada's broken, centralized system is falling apart. The outlying provinces have had enough. They're realizing the futility of trying to change within a system that's permanently broken and made to slanted to feed central Canada as if it was a funnel draining resources. So Saskatchewan is on the move. And Scott Moe has been very outspoken as a premier too. He's been sounding very similar to Premier Danielle Smith on these things, with kind of taking that middle of the road thing, saying, I'm not a supporter of Saskatchewan secession, but I won't stop people from having a vote on it. One of the steps that Saskatchewan has to do, though, is they should fix up their legislation. And boy, I should have written it down. I believe it's 125,000 votes they need on a petition, maybe 150,000. But it's not like Alberta's legislation either, in that that would bring about what is just a non-binding plebiscite in their province, not something that would be considered an official referendum. Though it would be a big public vote to be held and have, and it would be invoked by citizens. But they should tune up their legislation, because it's based on a percentage of all the people who are eligible to vote. That's what Alberta used to have. That's what's being changed with Bill 54 in Alberta. Because in Alberta, it used to be 600,000, and now it's being brought down to a more reasonable 177,000 signatures on a petition, because it's 10% of those who got off their butts and voted. Good incentive for people to get up and vote then. So they should reform Saskatchewan's legislation. I don't know if Scott Moe has the will or interest in doing that, but I think that's one of the things they need to be lobbying for out there. But as well, it's just a lot of ground organization needs to be getting going. And again, Nadine Ness has been moving around the province, holding town halls all over the place on it. And they've been well attended and popular. One of the challenges they've had, it's funny, I never listed that in my book. This is things that, I listed a lot of mistakes I made when I first started the Independence Party back in 25 years ago. She had scheduled a whole lot of meetings to be held in legions. And legions do often have part of their charter trying to be as non-political as humanly possible. And what ended up happening was a whole pile of her town hall meetings got canceled because legion leadership decided they didn't want to have that within there. Don't use legions. I know it feels frustrating, and I know there's some split hairs, and I know legions will hold some um, politically charged things. There's double standards, but just avoid the headache in the first place. But, look for community halls, other venue spots. We had that happen in Alberta. One of our main organizers, the Alberta Independence Party, was very involved with his local legion and tried to hold one there, and it caused a lot of kerfuffle between legion members and independent supporters and everything. So again, we're all moving along, trying to find our way and get to independence. And there's a lot of little hurdles, some we can avoid, some we can't, battles we got to have. Nadine's doing a great job out there, and she had to learn that hard lesson with the legion. So that's where communicating back and forth, all of us in the independence movement, helps. Educating ourselves and organizing. And something, when it comes to a lot of polls in the past with independence, people's visions of Western independence become the strongest when asked about, if it's this province alone or these provinces in partnership or these three provinces. It gets much, much stronger with every combination of provinces. People envision an Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan sort of block moving off as the strongest possible combination. There's not much support in lower mainland BC, but there's a lot in interior. But the reality we got to face is it has to be one province at a time. It has to be a referendum held in each province, no matter what your vision might be. You have to run just on breaking that particular province free. So Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, we can all be walking together in parallel and supporting each other and helping. But in the end, and it's the way it should be anyways, it's up to the citizens of each province if they're going to make that decision to go. So what I'd envision, it'd be beautiful if Saskatchewan and Alberta held referendums at the same time in their provinces. That would be great. Really, if you want to catch the attention of the nation, have some parallel referenda going on that same sort of question. Though I don't know, there's discussions, maybe sharing resources, sharing campaigning abilities, things like that. Maybe it'd be better if they're held at different times, so each province could have some activists help with the other province. But then you get into some. This is where things are going to get interesting as we move along with things, right? Are there moral issues with that? I mean, we have movement between provinces still for now, when the government's not invoking emergencies. But is it right for a citizen of another province to campaign within a province for or against, like a different province, something like independence, or should they just kind of stay out and leave it to the citizens? But the problem that's going to happen is people against independence are certainly going to pour into these provinces and help campaign. The federal government is certainly going to interfere as hard and heavily as it can. Either way, there's absolutely nothing wrong with us sharing resources and conversations prior to a referendum and helping each other organize and helping build the base for this. The case is very common. The situations we have are very much in common between Saskatchewan and Alberta. And again, these meetings are really going to help pull people together, because that's what I've been hearing ever since everything broke out in that last election. When people realized the utter futility of expecting any kind of substantive change in Canada through an election, is not going to happen. The system's broken. So support from independence has exploded, but people don't know what to do or where to go. That's where I'm trying to just help with what I can with it. So again, I'll finish with my usual plug. And hey, if you're coming out tomorrow night, I'm looking forward to meeting you there. I'll be bringing copies of the Sovereigntist Handbook. And if you're not coming out, there's a link available in this video description getting down to it. And again, it's an instructional book. It's just telling how to get to independence more than why, though there's a lot of background in it. And it's a little, it covers things for both provinces, but it's a little bit Alberta-centric. I mean, I live in Alberta. That's the way it's going to go. But these can be applied in Saskatchewan and now in Alberta. So grab a copy if you haven't. Keep watching the videos. You get the same information through these as well if your book's not your thing. And things are looking good, guys. We're seeing this spread from province to province. What I want to see next, I hope, and I'm certainly more than willing and happy to come out and speak at something like that. Let's get moving at interior BC, guys. Let's make this movement spread. I mean, this is how it's going to get done. The system's broken. Nobody else is going to fix it but us, and we're on the right track.